I can clearly remember every lyric from every X-Clan, every Tribe Called Quest, every Public Enemy song because I was in the moment, living it. That music defined who I am now. It was like the defining moment for a whole generation of us. We were in it at that moment, you know what I mean? We weren't just like inheriting the music of our brothers and sisters. We were listening to the music at the time. It was affecting everything. The clothes we wore, the way we wore our hair, our diet, the way we walked, the way we talked, the movies we watched. Everything we did was affected by that moment. It's an interesting challenge for this generation where the art and the expression isn't as direct. One of the things that I feel like this generation is more connected to is what they can see. It's not necessarily what you're saying, it's what you can see, what they can see. Facebook Live, YouTube, the story your phone can tell in real time. All those things weren't necessarily accessible for us, so we were looking for what our hip hop greats would call the CNN of the streets, you know what I mean? Like, we saw it with our own eyes. Police brutality was real. The Public Enemy reaffirmed it for us, you know, because they were in the popular culture and they were saying, yeah, I'm top Billboard selling hip hop band, but I haven't forgotten where I come from. And though I'm out here selling 1 million records, when I walk outside my house, the police are still shooting my friends, you know, and that just affirmed that no matter where we are, no matter where we go, we're still black. This generation is wrestling with the same ideas. We're now more conscious about it because we actually can see it. So this generation is concerned about seeing it. And so filmmakers have to adapt. Doesn't mean we have to be, you know, I've had some filmmakers say to me, well, you know, in order to connect with this generation, we got to make the camera messy, move it around. And that's just not true. That's not, like, again, why were we questioning the intelligence of a generation that's so image savvy? We don't have to throw the camera around and whip pan. What we need to do is make it feel real. We need to make it feel legitimate, because if the films don't feel real, then why even make movies? Because they can go out with their iPhone and shoot the same thing we're trying to recreate in the film is happening in real time right in front of them, and they've got iPhones and they're shooting it with the iPhone and putting it on YouTube 10 minutes after it happens. So the films have to feel so much more immersive, so much more involved. If not, they're not going to be legitimate. I feel like a more contemplative, more meditative cinema is going to like teach that. It will. And if we make those, when we make those films, all of our DNA will be embedded in those films, and we will be conscious of making sure that we communicate those ideas. But I feel like in order to really bring it in, specifically about your question about young people, is that I want it to be immersive. I want it to be in it. It's not about gore, it's not about blood, it's not about any of that. It's just about humanizing. It's about, you know, the young person of color that's got all types of questions and all types of concerns about just stepping outside their house. Like, what's that feel like? You know what I mean? What's that feel like? It's not there to prove to anybody else what it feels like. It's to remind us what that feels like, and why it's important for us to be active participants in changing our own circumstances, be active participants in being our own history makers, telling our own story. Don't let somebody else tell our story. Sure, somebody else can try to tell that story, and by no means are we going to stop them from telling our story, but there's a bunch of nuance, there's a bunch of other things tangled up in telling the story that only we can tell. Only we can present those ideas, because we're in it, we're living it.